Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 18. Yes, it is episode 18. I double checked before we started the show. I got it right this time. So off to a good start. How's everybody doing? It's the last week. It's the last week of the NFL season, but more importantly, the fantasy football season, which is really sad. 2021 NFL season and fantasy football season coming to a close this week. Obviously, we wish the best of luck to all of you in the finals and whatnot, but we're here to talk about last week as well. I'm Lachlan McTagg, joined alongside me again for another episode. We brought him back. Ty White with some high praise for Christian Haggith last week, so I'm joined once again by the man himself, Christian Haggith. Welcome back. How's it going on your end there, Hags?
Not bad over here. Thanks for having me back again. Apparently, I hit enough of my starts and sits to be invited back for another episode here. Starting to feel like a semi-regular with Ty White still enjoying the warm weather. Felt like I'd hold down the fort for another week before the big man gets back.
Yeah. Speaking of starts, and I mean, first off, how's your NFL Sunday though? Was it good? Nice and relaxing?
Yeah. I mean, I've been off school for a few weeks now, so I've been able to fully embrace the Sunday atmosphere, just kicking the feet up on the couch and enjoying some Sunday football. How was your Sunday? Were you back in Massachusetts or still down here for your Sunday?
What day is? Yeah, I was still back in Toronto for Sunday. I watched a bit of the Bills game.
Oh yeah,
That was good. I started Devin Singletary. I felt like it was pretty cool though, because my mom, she watches every one of these, but she has like no clue what we're talking about. Like my mom and dad, they just watch, they watch and listen and stuff. They've been doing it all season, so appreciate that.
shout out to Loch and Loch's mom and dad.
Yeah, that was quick promotion there, but I was sitting there watching the Bills game and she's just like firing questions off, which, it is totally fine. I get it. But I was just answering them. Like I was just like a fantasy football encyclopedia there.
There you go.
It was crazy. It really tested my knowledge of this fine sport.
Fantasy question of the week via Yvonne.
Yeah, multiple questions. But yeah, then now I'm back in Massachusetts now. I got back yesterday. First practice was today. It was pretty brutal. It was off the ice for a little bit and came back and
legs are feeling it.
Yeah, legs, lungs, we're getting back into the swing of things. We got four games in 3 days this weekend. We're up in Showcase. So
where's that taking place?
In lovely Marlborough, Massachusetts.
Sounds lovely.
If anyone knows where that is, then cool, good on you. But yeah, other than that, just, had a nice travel day, settling back into the billet house here, and now recording this fine podcast with you.
Sounds like a lovely week there, Lachlan.
Shall we jump
into it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Whoa. Listen to a little too much fantasy cast, sounds like.
Yeah, no kidding. We're on the same wavelength here.
We shall.
Yeah, that's starts and sits here. Last week we decided, Christian decided to make it a bit more positive, have more starts than sits, which is it's very fair, very reasonable, and I respect his decision.
I want to see guys winning.
Yeah, of course. So we'll start off. We told you last week to start David Montgomery. We were correct about that. He put up 20.1 points. Nice little outing for him.
You're welcome. And moving on in the starts, we called Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dude has been lighting it up.
Man, this guy's hot.
35.4 points. If you slotted him in that nice little flex, nice little wide receiver too, good on you. Congratulations on winning the week.
He was putting up wide receiver 1 numbers, man. Holy smokes.
Dude's been lighting it up.
Ronald, we told you to start Ronald Jones. This one was tough.
Yeah, I think he got hurt. Whatever. Yeah, it's a tough bounce there. That's 3.7 points. Like, the stars were aligning for Rojo, but couldn't come through. the universe didn't want to see it happen, and he ended up with a bit of a stinker there. So sorry about that one, guys. Moving on here. We told you to start Dare Ogunbowale.
Our boy.
I know. I was wondering the same thing. Who is that guy? Why are you telling me to start him, Christian? I got you. 14.8. Nice little receiving touchdown there in the Jags game. Like 14.8, probably not a game changer, but it's not
Good
it's not
enough.
bringing your lineup down. It's not bringing your lineup down.
I'd be very happy. Like if every
For
one of
sure.
my players in a fantasy lineup put up 15 points on the dot, like
For sure.
you're
That's all
doing
you can
well.
ask for.
You're doing well. The Jags got smoked, but it doesn't matter if you had our
Yeah.
boy Ogunbowale.
Yeah. That's a side fact.
Yeah,
That doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Lastly, this one was a bit of a shoe-in from the start, we felt, but boy, did this guy perform. We told you to start Joe Burrow. Yeah, he really proved to us that he should be a must start, at least should have been this season. And obviously probably is next week, because I'm assuming that the Bengals would be kind of stupid to rest their starters, because they've won the division, but like they kind of want to play for spots here, right? You want to climb up the standings as much as you can. Like a win's a win.
I think home field's up for grabs. So
yeah,
we'll see the Bengals game plan there. Hopefully, they give us a little Jamar Chase action, a little T Higgins, a little Tyler Boyd, keep it spicy in there with
Joe Mixon,
with Joe Burrow, and Joe Mixon.
Yeah, the 34.
I'm liking this whole passing game thing they've got going on. It's fun to watch.
It's been extremely fun. Joe Burrow with 34.8. We went 4 for 5 on the starts with a massive hit with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like that was, I was pretty fired up.
For sure.
I was pretty fired up. I think
we definitely hit the nail on the head there on a few, definitely 3 of them. All right, moving on to the sits. This is a tough part of the show where we got to say, oh, these guys didn't do well, and we said they weren't going to do well, so it makes us feel like bad people. Whatever, part of the job. Starting off here, Terry McLaurin. Like if you started him, whatever. He got 13.1 points. I'm hoping you won your week. You probably didn't with that. It's not a game changer. Like, sorry, Ryder, who's got him starting. I told you to sit him, man. Told you to sit him. Moving on here, Saquon Barkley, 10.2. We called a sit on Saquon, and if you've been listening to the show, you know that the measurement for a starter sit is above or below 10 points. Saquon was 3 yards above that threshold. No, sorry, 2 yards above that threshold. Really cutting it close there. Personal story, actually, I started him over Dare Ogunbowale. I gave you guys the good advice, didn't take it myself.
I didn't know if you were going to say that or not, if you're going to keep it quiet, because I was going to say it.
I got to own it.
Jeez.
Gotta own it, guys. Saquon was too big of a name for me to sit, and I paid the price. I actually didn't. I won, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And
not
then finally,
not that it matters for you, but it's okay.
Yeah. Apparently, the rest of my lineup was doing their job.
Yeah.
But then Ryan Tannehill, we called a sit on him. 13.3, nothing spectacular, but enough for a sit, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and I will say, like, I was a little surprised when I saw the name Ryan Tannehill on the sits list, and I was like, okay, like, he's probably got it was your suggestion, like, you probably got a good reason for it. And your take was actually, it was pretty valid, I'd say. We threw that up on the Fantasy Cast Instagram page. So if you're wondering what the heck is this guy talking about, well, go follow our Instagram. You'll see.
That's what I'm talking about.
You'll see more stuff. Moving on to some big weeks now. I'll start off with the quarterbacks. The aforementioned Joe Burrow, 34.8 points, 446 yards, 4 TDs. What a day. I mean, last couple weeks for Joe Burrow have been just straight up ridiculous. Last week it was T Higgins. This week it was Jamar Chase. Next week it might be Tyler Boyd. Who knows?
I hope that'd be sick.
That would be crazy. Because then going into the playoffs, they'd all of a sudden have this what looks like 5-headed monster in
Yeah.
Burrow,
Don't sleep.
Mixon. Yeah, seriously. If
Don't
they
sleep
get
on my boy CJ Uzuma though. Six-headed.
yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah, we
Yeah.
can make that like
Anyways,
a 5 3/4.
the point is they've got a heavy offense going for them. Joe
Yep.
Burrow has been feeling it. I think every time that guy smokes a cigar in the room after, it's like a +5
Oh,
attribute boost.
that was priceless, man.
Oh yeah, dude, if that
Of
doesn't make you want
course.
to start him, that he's a must start now
You just
for
know
the
though
rest
that
of
like
the.
you know how players sometimes like when they show up to games they have like backpacks on or like they have like a travel bag
Yeah,
with them. Joe
yeah,
Burrow for sure just had a bunch of Marlboro stashed in his bags. He's like, we're coming
yeah,
in here and we're beating Pittsburgh and we are just
yeah.
lighting these up after the game. Like,
He's yeah, he knows what's going down. He's staying classy with it. Good for him.
oh yeah. Next up, Russell Wilson. Wow, let Russ cook, even though the Seahawks aren't that good. Anyway, 27.8 points, 236 yards, 4 touchdowns on 236 yards. That's actually kind of crazy. Uh, yeah, Russell Wilson had himself a good week, so good on you, Russ. Next up, Tom Brady. This guy's been fantastic. I believe last time I checked, he was, I think, third among all quarterbacks in fantasy football points this season. Another great week for him, 410 yards, 3 TDs, 26.4 points. Stellar week for Tom. Dak Prescott, 23 points, 226 yards, 3 touchdowns, 20 rushing yards. Yeah, pretty good day for Dak as well. And then
For sure.
Kyler Murray put up 22.9 points, just 0.1 behind his buddy Dak. 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 44 rushing yards. As the Cardinals take a massive game from the Cowboys there. And
For
I mean
sure.
I'm sure you guys all saw that the memes of Dak sitting on the bench, like
Yeah.
just that like blank stare.
Yeah.
But he's
It's
going through it.
yeah, Dak won the battle. He lost the war. More fantasy points, but at the end of the day, Cowboys came up short.
I
And
will say I was kind of mad about that game because I had Zeke in my lineup and he just laid
yeah,
a bit of an
he put
egg.
up a stinker for sure.
He laid a bit of an egg. I won't lie. I was like, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
you
What
can't
can
win them
you do?
all. Can't win them all. All
What
right,
a
we're gonna
yeah.
on the theme of Zeke, we're gonna well, not really on the theme of Zeke. We're gonna get going on the top running backs from Week 17.
Indirectly,
Starting off the list,
yeah.
starting off the list, Rashad Penny with 32 and a half points. He was actually going to be on our start list last week, but just got snubbed from it. Big week ahead of no, I don't know if it's going to be a big week ahead for him, to be honest, but it was a big week last week. Good for you, Rashad. Moving on, really the only mainstay, the only cemented starting running back on this list of top running backs last week was Najee Harris at number 2, putting up just under 30 points, ran for almost 190 yards, 1 touchdown, few nice receptions. Third was Darrell Williams with over 25. Boston Scott coming behind him with nearly just below 25.
Yeah,
And then
by the way, Boston Scott, we told you to pick him up on the waiver wire. If you got Boston Scott on the waiver wire and you put him in your lineup,
boom.
it's a great week.
Yeah. Tell the people you're welcome, Lachlan.
You're welcome.
Tell the people you're welcome. You're welcome.
But there's no better feeling than picking up a guy on the waiver wire and then he just goes off. Like there's
for sure.
Like, come on. It's just priceless.
Yeah. And Devin Singletary here with 23 points. Locke knows a lot about that. But like I said, really, out of those 5 guys, the only guy week in, week out, you're like, oh, it's a must start is Najee Harris.
It's very true.
We're getting to that point of the year where, just like you said, you're picking up a guy on waivers and then you're just throwing him in your lineup and he's going to throw 30 down because the 3 running backs ahead of him on the depth chart are all out. And it's just it's just the situation you're in. So good
Yeah,
on anybody that picked any of those guys up and tossed them in their lineup. You're really that's a veteran move.
absolutely. And earlier preparing for the fantasy playoffs a few weeks back, Ty and I told you to take a look at the depth charts and look at your matchups. And if you did that, then some of these guys you probably would have tried to pick up or had on your lineup earlier in the year. So yeah, again, well done. Moving on now, top wide receivers. Holy smokes, Christian. Jamar
Big
Chase,
one.
man. Jamar Chase, 11 receptions, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, and probably one of the most disrespectful touchdown runs I've seen in quite some time.
That was nice.
Imagine you're the safety and you're running back and you're chasing after a guy and he is like half speed staring you down.
Who's the guy on TikTok? Mr. Doc 30?
Mr. Oh yeah, or Mr. Go there. What's the not really an athlete?
Yeah. That guy's gonna have a field day on that clip.
Oh my god. Oh, he will, dude. Oh no.
Shout out to that guy, but sorry we can't get your name right now. But oh my gosh, there's gonna be a lot of I'm not really an athlete. I'm just gonna dive at legs here.
Yeah, the moment's a little too big. Oh man, that's gonna be a good one. I actually can't wait for that. Next up, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Again, we mentioned him. He had a big week. He had 23 rushing yards as well as a rushing touchdown, 8 receptions for 111 yards and a receiving touchdown, doing a little bit of both on the offensive end of the ball. What a week for Amon-Ra. Next up, DK Metcalf, 6 receptions, 63 yards, 3 touchdowns, a hat trick. It's our second hat trick out of our wide receiver crew. This is just crazy. Next up, Devontae Adams, 11 receptions, 136 yards. It's such a routine. It's so easy for him. It's so easy for him.
Everybody on this list comes and goes, but Devontae's there to stay for sure.
Yeah, seriously. I was in a restaurant. I was watching that game, and they were just showing the replays of Devontae Adams. I think who was it? Was it Patrick Peterson that was on him?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, probably.
Patrick, and don't get me wrong, Patrick Peterson is a great cornerback.
Yeah, dude. Like you said, it's so routine. Like I turned on the Green Bay game.
He made him look like he was playing high school out there, dude. Like it was crazy.
Dude, like the first series, he's got like 9 points just off receptions, and it's like
I know I was playing
every week.
I was playing a guy, and I was up before the Packers game started. I was up like 30 or 40. No, yeah, like I think I was up 40 before the Packers game started on this guy, and he had Devontae Adams and Deontay Johnson left to play, and I'm like, oh Jesus! I ended up losing by about 10.
Yeah. That's coming.
And I was just watching the game. And I was like, oh no. Cause yeah, he had like 4 catches on the first drive, or like 3 or 4 catches. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. And then our last name here, Braxton Berrios. Who? Braxton
Berrios, apparently.
12 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, 8 receptions, 65 yards, and a touchdown. 25.7 points for the kid. So random, like such an unsuspecting player to go off.
Good for that guy. He's going to be the New England Patriots starting wideout next year.
Oh, geez. Yeah, he's going to be the new West. He's going to be the new why can't I think of that guy's name? Chris Hogan. He's going to be the new Chris Hogan.
Yeah.
Belichick saw that and he's like, yeah, I'm signing this guy.
Sure. They're pouring like 20 million at him next year. Should we run through the tight ends? Give the people a little.
Yeah, we all love the tight ends. Yeah.
All right, we'll show the tight ends some love. It's not National Tight End Day, but every day is. Starting off, got Noah Fant, just over 21 points, 6 receptions for 92 yards and a tutter. Rob Gronkowski coming in at number 2, 18.5 points, 115 yards receiving. Good for you, Gronk. Mark Andrews, guy's a staple here. Pretty much 15 points on 6 receptions. Travis Kelce, coming in number 4. He had a decent day, 5 catches, 25 yards, but rounded out with a touchdown. And then rounding out our list is Dallas Goedert with 13.1 points, 71 yards receiving. Not a massive day for the tight ends, not the one that we've been used to seeing with Mark Andrews putting up close to 40 on a weekly basis. But
Mark Andrews has like been on this list for at least 75% of the season. So
it's
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Good for him.
Defense and special teams. Lastly, Bears defense put up 21 points, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. Saints added an interception, 17 points. Good week for the Saints defense. Steelers defense put up 16. They're always a solid team. And again, I think I saw this today. It's, the Steelers have another winning season, so it makes it 15 in a row for Mike Tomlin now.
Yeah.
Steelers
D hasn't always been decent this year. They had a rough stretch there.
Yeah, for sure.
Good for them. Jumping back into the mix with 16.
The Titans. Yes, the Titans defense had 14 points, and rounding out our list is the Patriots with 13 points. And I thought the way the game went, I thought the Patriots would actually have more points than that.
Yeah.
Considering
only 10 points against, and
I know, like 3 interceptions. I don't know. I thought that'd be more than that, but I think they gave up a fair bit of yards too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sense.
That's it for the big weeks. How about we give you some waiver wire picks here?
Hit the people with the facts, Loch.
Yeah, I'll say. All right, here we go.
Do it.
First waiver wire pick, we got a wideout, Vegas wideout, Zay Jones. Why should you pick up Zay Jones? Because he's hot. In his last 3 games, he has 12.7, 11, and 19.9 points.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Good for Zay Jones. Hopefully he keeps it rolling here.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm looking here. Who are the Raiders? Oh, this is a big game too. Yeah, so I knew the Raiders were going to play a big game in their last week, and it's against the Chargers. That is a massive game for both teams, because the Raiders have always, this whole season, the Raiders have just always been hovering around the playoff mark. Like sometimes they've been looking like they're like a solid playoff team, and then they've just lost 2 straight. And then they've like just slowly been they've been climbing their way up, but not close enough for anyone to really kind of say like, yeah, like these guys are going to make the playoffs. Not like what Indy did. I think Indy's a different story, because they had a rough start. And I remember like Ty and I the whole year, I've been really big on Indy because they're a nasty team. Even when they're hovering around 500, you always kind of had that thought like, oh yeah, like they're going to make the playoffs. But I just feel like the Raiders haven't got that love.
I don't see it. Who knows? Maybe Zay Jones is going to be the difference maker. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
That's a massive game. That is a massive game.
Big call on Loch's part, calling the waiver wire pickup for Zay.
Yeah.
So if he pops off next week, you come right back here. And we're not going to say I told you so, because too classic.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we won't have anyone for you to pick up next week, because it's.
We hope for your sake, if you're in the championship or if you're fighting to stay out of last place, maybe Zay Jones will just bump you over the edge there.
Do you want to give this next name here, Christian? Hit some people with even more facts coming your way.
Drop some knowledge on you here. Just mentioned his name, Braxton Berrios. You saw him playing for the Jets, big wideout. And this is a little bit of a contingency on our part. If Elijah Moore is not playing, which you'll have to revisit later in the week. It's only Tuesday when we're recording this. We can't make that call. We're not superhuman fantasy knowledge people. We
can't see the future, unfortunately. Because if we could see the future, this would be the best damn podcast in the business. I'll tell you that.
We'd be really good. But we don't know. So if Elijah Moore's playing, it changes the story a little bit. Maybe takes Braxton out of the picture a little more. But if Elijah Moore is hurt for week 18, you heard it here first, folks. Pick up Braxton Berrios. Maybe toss him in your lineup. See how he does. All right.
He'll be readily available on the waiver wire too.
He will.
Zay Jones might be a little bit more of a hot commodity, just because this is such a big game, and Zay Jones has been getting a lot more looks from Derek Carr of late. And the Jets are playing the Bills in their last game in Buffalo, I believe. Yeah, I think it's in Buffalo. So obviously the Bills defense might limit the output of some of the receivers a little bit, but also Barrios is like rostered in like less than like 5% of leagues, I think, or something like that. Just because he hasn't really done that much this season. No offense to him.
I was about to.
But yeah, no kidding. He put up 25 last week. So, now I think a lot of people are going to jump on that train, and rightfully so. You should, but
Sure.
only if Elijah Moore is not playing and is he's activated from the IR. But if Elijah Moore is indeed cleared to play and going to play this game in Buffalo, pick up Elijah Moore, because
He's good.
a lot. Yeah, well, he's good. Plus, a lot of people just kind of dropped them after the Jets put him on IR a few weeks back.
Yeah.
So he's not really going to be like, if anyone like held out for Elijah Moore in their lineup and like use their IR spot on Elijah Moore, like that's like
I know you did, Loch.
I actually didn't. I just picked him up. I thought he was going to play last week. I just picked him up last week.
Oh, I didn't realize he was on waivers. I would have picked him up. It's a complicated world we live in, guys.
Damn.
But, that's the facts there. Zay Jones, Braxton Berrios. Keep your eyes open on the waiver wire.
Yeah. Now for the
shall we get into it?
Yeah, we shall.
So we shot 5 for 8 last week.
Pretty good.
Whatever. It's whatever.
We're going back to the usual 10 though.
Yeah. I'm gonna hate on more guys this week. I'm telling you to sit 5 guys because listen, like at week 17, it's all fun and games. You're trying to save guys' feelings. No, week 18, we're here to win now. Trying to keep you at a last place.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you to sit who you got to sit. All right. So let's start with the starts.
Yeah, of course.
I'm liking Dawson Knox against the New York Jets. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Dawson Knox, Bills are looking good. Maybe they don't have to rely on a Stephon Diggs as heavily. Hopefully Dawson sees a little more action against a questionable Jets defense. And I like that matchup for him.
Yeah, I also like that matchup because he's not going to be a guy who they rest. Like I really worry that I really worry for fantasy managers who have Allen and Diggs because the Bills are in a good spot. Playoff picture wise, I feel like, with a favorable matchup, and a chance to clinch the division. But if they're up at half, like they might just say, all right, Allen and Diggs are out. We got plenty of depth. It's Mitch Trubisky season. Let's get after it.
Cool. Yeah. And honestly, I don't hate Trubisky as a backup there. Even
not at all.
Knox.
Not at all.
For Dawson Knox, if they're resting Allen and Trubisky's the one coming in throwing your little red zone targets, then so be it.
I'm just saying, like, and I'm not
my
saying
dog's going to eat either way.
Exactly. And again, I'm not saying that, Allen and Diggs are going to come out of this game and I'm predicting, any of that, but just be mindful because it's week 18, not 17, 18. It's the new NFL season format, which some people don't always agree with, but that's okay. Next start on our list is Antonio Gibson. We're telling you to start Antonio Gibson. Who's the football team playing, by the way? I forget.
The New York Giants. That's why.
I was gonna say that I thought they played someone a little easier, but then again, the football team have been a little underwhelming this year. Gibson's been a little underwhelming himself too.
Gibson's been picking it up in the later half of the year.
He has.
Listen, I drafted him with my first round pick. I know that he's been a little underwhelming more than anybody. Really, it's the truth. He's still a little questionable whether he's playing or not with his injury. JD McKissick is out. Remember this, he's on the IR. If Antonio Gibson doesn't play, I'm telling you now to pick up Jarrett Patterson and play him. That is my backup start here. behind
Wow.
Gibson. If Gibson's playing, you start him, no question. JD McKissick's out of the picture. He's playing a terrible defense. You start him. Jarrett Patterson if Gibson's hurt.
Yeah. Again, we're recording this on a Tuesday, so it's really, really tough to tell what the outcome will be on Sunday.
I'm telling it.
Yeah.
I've been told from future Christian that Gibson or Jared Patterson are the guys.
Exactly.
Moving on. This guy's I had to put him back on the list. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
This guy's been awesome.
Listen, I hate it. I hate it from myself to put a guy on the start list and him pop off and then be like, oh, let's start him again. Like that's shallow of me, I know. But start this guy. Listen.
There's and don't feel bad about this because there's no reason not to start him, because ordinarily we wouldn't put, for example, we said a while back, we put Michael Pittman on the starts list. And we said Michael Pittman from now on is a must start. That was mid-season.
Yeah.
The difference is Amon-Ra St. Brown has been popping off really late in the season.
It's the last
and
3 weeks, yeah.
So he's been doing it repeatedly over the last 3-4 weeks, if even that long. So he's really giving anybody no reason not to start him. So don't feel bad about that at all. You shouldn't feel bad about that.
Yeah, well, I will feel not bad about it at all if he puts a repeat performance up.
Next one, start Taysom Hill versus Atlanta. Atlanta's defense is not that good. They've had their injury troubles this year. Believe me, I know. Atlanta is officially out of the playoff race as well with their loss to Buffalo last week. And the Saints are really banking on some scenarios to claim that final playoff spot.
Yeah.
So
and, I think Taysom Hill's running
Hill's,
upside as well.
He's got to show up. He knows what he has to do this week. Let's put it that way. He knows what he's got to win a football game for his team, and the rest is just all up to fate, really, if you're in that situation. So for that reason, you should be starting Taysom Hill in your lineups this week.
For sure. And our final start here is Devin Singletary. Multitude of reasons. You've seen him he's been picking it up. Last week he ate it up with 23, coming in on our big players of the week. As well, they're playing the Jets defense. You like Lachlan mentioned, you don't know what the deal is with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. Run game's probably going to be a little more heavy. So I'm liking Singletary there. Toss him in at your flex, maybe a running back too, and just watch him go to work. He's going to be picking up garbage time yards. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I remember I had a conversation with a friend of mine, you might know him, Ty White, a while ago, and Singletary was dropped by someone in our league, and I picked him up immediately because I'm like, I don't know why, I just have a good feeling down the stretch about Singletary. He's too good of a player not to regain the role in Buffalo. There's no reason why he shouldn't be the number one running back in Buffalo. And believe me, I love what Zach Moss does, but when Singletary is effective, I mean, you see what he can, see what he can do. He just adds a little bit more of a multi-dimensional asset to the Buffalo offense, which has been highly touted as a extremely pass heavy offense, which they have been. But yeah, again, Singletary start. I think it's a solid call.
Yeah.
And he's also got to hit his stride for playoffs too, because that's they're gonna need the run game in the playoffs.
They definitely are. The sits here, we got a few bold takes. Yeah. So
first
stick with me here. I'm gonna say on the first one, I'm gonna say sit Carson Wentz against the Jaguars. Yeah.
I want to hear this. Yeah. I really want to. I really want. Yeah. Tell
us, Lachlan? The
tell
best starts and sits don't always come from statistics, but come from a gut feeling. And I called it last week with Ryan Tannehill against the Dolphins.
It's very true, but very untrue at the same time. It's actually
funny. There's no statistics saying sit that guy. But I said I don't feel it. I don't feel it. And I don't know if I feel it with Wentz against the Jags. Late in the season, they've got their playoff spot. I think they're gonna, you know, I don't think it's gonna be a Carson Wentz heavy game. And you might be looking at like a Naheem Hines moving in, getting a little more action there. So all I'm gonna say is we'll be sitting here. It's a hot take, but we'll be sitting here next Tuesday looking over it, and I'm hoping I don't look too dumb then. But
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that run battle when Wentz. I feel like Wentz is gonna have a similar week to Tannehill. Like he might throw like one, maybe two touchdowns, but like not a lot of yards, and
yeah,
then just Jonathan Taylor just goes to work, or Jonathan,
I don't
or
even know if
actually
it's gonna be Taylor
it's
because
Naeem Hines. My bad.
yeah,
But again, Hines is a great great backup, so he can
yeah,
do his own work there. Next up, Marquise Hollywood Brown. His production under what's his name? Tyrod Huntley.
yeah, I know it's Huntley. I think Robbie's got him started in our league.
It's I fact check. It's Tyler Huntley. Um, his targets under Tyler Huntley have been
Yeah,
going down steadily. He put up 3.8 points last week. Now Lamar Jackson could return this week. Again, I think he's set to return this week. That's all signs at this point in time point towards that. Lamar Jackson makes his return to the lineup, which is very good for the Ravens. Get him back on his feet. But
in that case, it changes the Marquise Brown situation. All I know though is Marquise Brown within the last 3 days or so retweeted something about like his lack of targets. And I'm like, oh, it's downhill. That never goes well. That never goes well.
I was gonna say too, like even with Lamar back in the lineup, I just think that Marquise Brown his form has just kind of fallen a little bit. And with one game left in the season, I don't know how much it's gonna change.
For sure.
But again, that tweet doesn't help. That tweet does definitely not.
Yeah, it was along the lines of like somebody tweeted like, we need a therapist group or a therapy group for Marquise Brown fantasy owners. And he like responded to the tweet. He's like, can y'all let me come too or something? And I was like, that's funny.
Jeez.
That's funny. You're not getting started this week.
That tweet will that he'll either like go nuts after that tweet or just like not really do much.
Yeah.
So there's one of two things that could happen there.
We'll find out. Moving on to our third sit of the week here. We got Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift coming back, going to be taking a good number of those touches. The Lions have nothing to lose. They're playing a win here. But the interesting thing is Jamal Williams is coming back to Green Bay, and it's a bit of a revenge game, And so I don't think things are lining up for him to take his revenge upon the Packers. I think DeAndre Swift is going to be getting a good number of touches.
Yeah,
Swift is probably going to still be the RB1 in that situation. It's not like you're going to see Williams with the majority of the touches, I don't think. So I don't think it's going to be a huge game for him. I think there's not a ton of upside. I don't think it's worth the start.
Yeah, that's solid there. Yeah, Swift coming in. That's going to be tough for Jamal Williams. He had a great run this year, though, I will say.
For sure.
Quality signing by the Lions. Next sit, Mike Gesicki versus New England. The Dolphins have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and this is a massive game for New England. We'll see. I think if anyone goes off, though, it's not the tight end. It's either
Waddle.
It's either Waddle, yeah. Or who's starting a running back for them? It's like Duke Johnson or something like that. I don't even know.
Yeah, like listen, Gesicki hasn't put up over 12 points since week 7. So I think like his first 7 weeks were kind of pretty, like, he was hidden. Like he was pretty good. He was going 50-50, putting up over 15 points and versus not. But now he's kind of been in a bit of a slump. And like you said, like I don't see him getting out of the slump week 18 against the Pats defense.
Yeah, because the Pats, this is
Yeah,
Two big divisional games of the AFC East, man. Oh my
yeah,
God. Bills, Jets, and Pats, Dolphins. Are you kidding me? Like the NFL schedulers are just licking their chops, especially with the Raiders, especially with the Raiders Chargers game too, man.
yeah.
Like, wow. It's come down to the wire here. Why don't you give us her last name?
Final sit here, Aaron Jones. Let me tell you why. I got Aaron Jones in my lineup myself. Listen, I know he's not a sit worthy player, but the Packers are big chilling in the playoff standpoint. Aaron Jones is one of the guys you don't want to see get hurt before the playoffs. That list consists of Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. And your running back's probably the most prone to getting an injury, a fluke injury in the last week of the season like that. I think Aaron Jones's touches are going to be extremely limited, especially with AJ Dillon back there, just an absolute power horse. If they want,
I'd be shocked if it wouldn't surprise me at all if Aaron Jones just straight up didn't play.
Yeah, I don't see him getting more than like 10 touches. And so like the volume's not going to be there, unless he, for a fluke reason, catches a few touchdowns or something. But I just don't see him. Like we think that Jordan Love is going to be getting the start at QB,
which would make a lot of sense.
For sure. And the Packers have a history of benching their stars late in the season like this. So I think Aaron Jones isn't going to play a ton, and I don't think he's worth the start. You don't want to start a guy and he plays half the game. Like, it's not worth it.
Nope.
So
that
rounds up the list.
Yeah, that's just the sign of the times in the last couple of weeks this season, of the fantasy season, at least. Like the fantasy finals are such an interesting time because you're picking and choosing players. You're like, man, like I don't know if this guy's going to go. Maybe he sits or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, solid. Sure. I pretty solid starts and sits list. We gave you a full 10 this time, not just the 8. So Christian finally got over his fear on telling you that 5 players will not do well in a week. Makes me feel like an absolute savage, but that's okay. It's okay. Moving on, fantasy player of the week. I think this is fairly obvious. For the second week in a row, it's a Bengals wide receiver. And no, it's not T. Higgins. It is the one and only Jamar Chase. Shall I reread his stats for you? Just kidding. I made up my mind. I'm going to do it anyway. 11 receptions, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, hat trick for the rookie on the day. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Good for you, Jamar. Good for you, my man.
Like it wasn't even a question. I don't even think it was a question. 55.6 points. Like,
yeah, that's like a historic game. Like nobody's competing with that.
Yeah.
Good for you, Jamar.
How many 50 plus point games for any player have there been this year? Not many.
One, I think.
Jonathan
Taylor with 53 something. That's it. I think last year Kamara put over 60, I believe.
That was a Thanksgiving game, wasn't it?
No, it was Christmas.
Oh yeah, Christmas game. Christmas with Kamara. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so like those kinds of games come around maybe once a year.
Didn't you have 6 touchdowns though?
Yeah, record-setting amount of touchdowns.
Good times. Yeah, but I think that might be a fantasy record this season for most points in a game.
It might be.
I think it might be. We might have to fact check that. So we might be really wrong. So just let us know.
That might be game of the year, let alone game of the week.
Yeah. Moving on. Last portion here. The question of the week, and it's pretty simple. Who is the fantasy football MVP? And I have 2 names in my mind. You probably have the same 2 names in your mind.
Do you want to debate this?
Sure.
I know your name. I'm thinking Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
And I could easily say Cooper Kupp too.
And this is the thing. Like either one of them have just been fantastic this season. And
hot take, I think Derrick Henry would have been the top name on that list had he stayed healthy.
Derrick Henry was going to set records this year?
Yeah. I think it probably goes to Cooper Kupp just because of his record-setting level.
Yeah.
And like Jonathan Taylor, still an unreal year, but there's been better years. But
I also think Jonathan Taylor's had such an interesting year because he got off to a rough start.
yeah,
Really
that is
rough
true.
start. Really kind of uncharacteristic of him, and you're like, okay, he might bounce back, and then he slowly started picking it up, and then he like really picked it up.
And then he's like the best player in the league.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then he
it's crazy.
now he's the top PPR running back in all of fantasy football.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, going back and forth on these two, like it's just it's so tough to say. Like I would honestly say Cooper Kupp just because of how consistent that guy is week in, week
oh my
out.
gosh, every week it's like, yeah,
Like
I
every week you can count on 20 plus points.
I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think the only thing that Jonathan Taylor has over Cooper Kupp is that he's a running back, and like, running backs kind of the number one running back is typically, like the best player. And but Cooper Kupp's year has just been phenomenal. Like literally, like if you're going up against Cooper Kupp every week, it's like, you got a budget for him putting up 35
Yeah,
easy.
seriously.
And
That's so true. And that's probably the
oh yeah,
scariest. That's probably the scariest part too, is that no matter what coverage defenses, and this is why I feel like wide receivers who win MVPs are so much different from running backs who win MVPs,
mm-hmm.
because defenses can kind of either plan or scheme for a wide receiver, because it's not like there's blockers out downfield 15 yards down
Yeah,
the field, whereas a running back just kind of has to find the holes naturally. And if he's doing that, then it's like, okay, like he's playing some great football, he's doing everything right. But receivers are just like, and specifically Cooper Kupp, he's just finding open areas of every defense every week, no matter how tight the coverage is, no matter if he's double teamed, no matter if there's a tight zone. Like it really hasn't mattered. And I feel like there's a portion of that also goes to Matthew Stafford as well.
for sure.
Him and Cooper Kupp have established a very, very good connection this year. But my fantasy MVP would definitely be, and not definitely. It's a close call, but I think Cooper Kupp would edge it out, just barely.
I think, yeah, I think that's a very respectable take. And all right, that's that. Yeah,
Wow.
that's entirely correct. I don't think you can go wrong with either of those guys. I think Cooper Kupp, though, you're right, is kind of that guy.
And also a name we also could throw around here is Josh Allen, because he's also the top scoring fantasy quarterback. But I don't know. Josh Allen's
it's kind of lame to give it to a QB. Like
but it also, like, if you've seen some of Josh Allen's quarterback ratings in certain games, like it's like, yeah, okay, like, yeah,
for sure.
Like even in the Falcons game, he had what, like 2 picks, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I don't know.
Like that.
And again, zero disrespect to Josh Allen, because I have his jersey in my closet right there. And I'm a big Bills fan, as you guys know, so I'm not disrespecting the QB there. But yeah, I think that just about wraps up our episode, though, doesn't it?
I think it does.
You got anything else to add?
No, I'd like to thank you for having me on once again. I think this is my 4th episode on the Fantasy Cast, and it's been a joyful time. And hopefully, Ty White travels safely back home and is ready for the season finale.
Yeah, Ty, we're thinking about you, buddy. Hoping you're having a great vacation. You definitely earned it, that's for sure.
That works hard.
Yeah, that wraps up episode 18 here of the Fantasy Cast. Right now, as of right now, we'll tell you guys this. As of right now, we are planning to do episodes, hopefully weekly, throughout the playoffs.
Okay.
So this is not the last you'll be hearing of us. Don't you worry. We may not be talking entirely fantasy football. We might just be chopping it up, talking some, being doing our best football analysts. But yeah, whatever the future holds, we hope you guys stay safe, stay well. And yeah, enjoy the last game of the season, the 17th NFL game of the season, 18th week of NFL football.
Enjoy it.
Squeeze all that last ounce of pure joy into this week, and then we'll keep it rolling through the playoffs. Best of luck to anyone in the finals or who is battling for last place or third place, or any other place, because you know what?
Every place matters.
Exactly. Unless you're playing in a relegation league, which in that case, we're sorry.
Still matters, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That would suck.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, episode number 18 of the Fantasy Cast has concluded. Thank you for the support again all season long. We really appreciate it. Don't hesitate to reach out to us as well for any fantasy football advice, although I think we've given plenty on this episode today. So for everyone here at Shocker Sports, he's Christian Haggith. I'm Lachlan McTagg. Enjoy your football this week, guys. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.